Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Rotary Unplugged. I'm Craig Clark, one of your hosts, along with producer J.R. Muller. We welcome you to an episode of Getting to Know a Fellow Rotarian, and we have a Rotary VIP with us today.
Aw, thank
None,
you.
none other than our Rotary Board Secretary, Alex Wilson. Hello.
Hi, thank you
And
for
guest,
letting me be
right?
on here.
I'm told there's a plus one today, perhaps.
Yes, Jax is in the house, and right now he's being quiet and eating Cheez-Its on the deck. So we're gonna run with that. But you will likely hear him. So I apologize in advance for my furry friend.
That's why we call it unplugged. Whatever happens, happens. Now, forgive me, I might have gotten a little too casual. I believe, do I have to call you Madam Secretary since you're
You do
Secretary
not.
of the Board?
You do not. I prefer just Alex. That's
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, actually, it's boss because you chair the podcast committee. So
I do.
JR and I have to do our best today. I didn't think about that until now.
It's funny when I had been avoiding doing the podcast for so long, but I had so many Rotarians that I was asking. I said, "Hey, will you do the podcast?" And they said, "Well, what's it like?" And I said, "I don't know."
I don't
And
know.
I don't know. And so I said, I need to put myself in the hot seat if I'm going to be asking people to do that. I firmly believe in leading that way. So I am in the hot seat today, Craig and JR. So any
You,
questions? But to your point, the podcast committee does not run without you and JR and Shelly rocking it out. I merely reach out to people to see if they will interview, and you guys just run with it and do an incredible job. So thank you.
yeah, it's fun, still as a somewhat new Rotarian. It's a great way for me to hear more of the not only the Rotary story, but individual stories too.
Yeah.
So now forgive me, we only have about 15 seconds to get to your personal story.
Okay.
I need about 20 just to read off all your current and past involvement. Wowza. Yeah, we definitely do want to hear the Rotary story, but as maybe you know, we tend to start with a little bit about the person. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am the director of personal giving for Samaritas. And Samaritas is a social service organization that focuses on affordable housing, new American services, child and family services like adoption, reunification, and foster care, and also substance use and mental health disorders. So I have the privilege of working with amazing donors that support the organization and helping them make meaningful impacts in the community.
You
And
sound
that's
like you've said that before,
you
spoken
know,
with true development.
tell me you work in fundraising without telling me, right?
Yeah. How long have you been there?
So I've been there for it'll be 2 years in
Okay.
October. And I've been in fundraising for over 10 years now, which feels pretty crazy to say.
Yeah.
Um, and not something I think like many fundraisers expected to get into. I know
Mhm.
we've kind of chatted a little bit about nonprofit backgrounds, Craig, but I actually went to Aquinas. And I dual majored in political science and history. And actually, Kadi was a professor there
Oh,
when
fun.
I was there. And I did not take any German classes with her, but I knew of her and worked with her on some projects. And now she's one of my really great friends. So it's kind of cool how that comes full circle. And
Yeah.
I went to law school after college, and I thought I
Wow.
wanted to be an attorney. I focused a lot on constitutional law, and I really excelled in that, and criminal law and criminal procedure. Um, but I think for me, there was a piece of collaboration that was missing.
Mm.
Um, and I think for me, that's something that's at my very core is I love to collaborate and see how we can lift each other up in the community. And it just didn't feel right. And that was a hard transition for me to make. And God bless my parents. They're like, go with what feels right. And
Yeah.
I can't thank them enough for telling me that. So
Yeah,
let's
probably better to kind of come to that conclusion during the process versus getting down the road quite a bit. And
right. Well, and I did 2 full years in law school and some change. So I was pretty far
we're a little
in.
down the road.
Yep. And it wasn't the right fit. And I think time and time again, I'm very close to my parents, and they've said, always go with your gut, and doesn't matter, we'll help you, we'll support you, and do
Yeah.
what feels best to you. So I'm very
Good,
blessed.
good parents. Are you from Grand Rapids originally or?
I'm born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and hilariously I've lived in the same neighborhood all of my life.
Oh,
I
that's funny. You've told me
Wild, right?
this one. Yeah.
Yeah, so my parents actually live across the street from me, and I bought the house when it came up for sale. Again, God bless my parents, very supportive. My mom found out that the house was going up for sale across the street, and she was like, Alex will buy that house. So so it was basically the process of just my parents and myself moving furniture across the street to get me into my house. And yeah, it's a really great fit. And I do have friends comment that it's like everybody loves Raymond, but
I was gonna say, have you heard of the show? Right, totally.
yeah.
So do they walk across the street every night and check in on you and stuff like that?
You know what? They are amazing with boundaries. And I also, my grandparents grew up down the street. So I think that they knew, you know, so there's some really great boundaries. And I go over there and they come over here. And, but we always text before. So there's always clear communication, which is amazing. And God bless my dad. He comes and lets Jax out when I'm at crazy meetings and volunteering and do all of the stuff. And so he just wanders across and lets Jax out. So.
That must be a full-time job because, as we'll get into, I don't think you're home a whole lot.
It is. I think that's a full-time job for him for sure.
And it sounds like another passion, if not full-time job. You mentioned that you're kind of into animal rescue. As we said, you've got a dog around, but you also rescued rabbits. Did I understand?
Yeah. So I've sat on the board of the Humane Society of West Michigan, and I actually was also, along with Leanne Secord, fellow Rotarian, on their junior board before I rolled on to the big board, if you will. But it's something, animals tend to find me, and I don't know what that is, right? Like I've talked to Doris Strain about like the universal cat distribution system, how animals just kind of find you. And for some reason, rabbits are what find me very often. And so somebody was dumping rabbits in my neighborhood, and God bless some of the women and myself, we all kind of got together and rescued them. And at the time I was a board member and I was a foster mom of her animals. And so I had 6 rabbits in my house at one time, and they were all Flemish giants, which are the giant, like the big boys.
That makes me want to sneeze.
Yeah. So very, very full. I mean, I had them in cages, and one was in my kitchen and one was in an upstairs bathroom, and they were just all over the house, and got all except one rehomed. And one, I love an underdog. He had been attacked by another animal. He has a big chunk missing out of his ear. And I just fell in love with him. His name is Mittens. And so he was my foster fail, and he now permanently lives with me. So along with another rescue bunny, Sammy, that I have. So.
Now, you also said, I think we all know you enjoy golf, but you also told me you like boxing?
Yes, I'm a boxer. Yeah. And right now I'm like on hold. I had I had to have like Mary Slavkowski laughs at me all the time because I'm always having a weird surgery. But I just had to, I get ganglion cysts. And so we just had a little bit of a clean out. So I'm on hold of boxing for right now, and I'm sure that the boxing motion doesn't help some of the wrist stuff, but I was always really interested in boxing. My grandpa taught my dad, and my grandpa actually taught folks in the Air Force when he was stationed in Tacoma to box, and I was always interested. And it just wasn't anything that they taught me golf, but they didn't want to teach me boxing. And so couple years ago, I was like, I really want to get into it. It looks fun. And I started going to Title Boxing, and I love it. It's a great release of aggression, and it's just against a bag. It's not against a person. Yeah, right. Yeah. But it's good, right? Like when you have those frustrations from the week, you can get it out. And one of my best friends boxes with me, and yeah, we have a great time doing it. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah. And quickly, to those of you that are listening and not watching, she raised her right arm. She's got a cast on. So you've probably seen that at a Rotary event. So, all right, I want to get into the Rotary story, but now I also, and again, if you're a regular follower, you know, I ask all of our guests for a couple nuggets of inside information. And one of the things I'm going to ask you about makes sense now because of your political science. But you said when you were 17, you wrote legislation for the House of Reps here in the state?
Yeah, I did.
As we all do at 17.
Right.
But...
Right. Sorry, you can probably hear Jax in the background. So sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. Here, eat some Cheez-Its, please. Okay. He's gone. So I did. So what folks may not or probably know Lodi's Warnstein.
Hmm.
His daughter, Ellen, who I am trying to get into Rotary, and she is supposed to be attending soon. She actually was one of the coaches at East Kentwood High School, where I went,
Hmm.
and part of the AP government program. And so it's called We the People, and basically you learn as much
Oh,
information about the Constitution as you can, and then you speak in front of judges and attorneys and folks who have gone through the program at the ages of 16, 17, 18, and
wow.
they hammer you with questions. And through that program, I became introduced to a representative, Glenn Stile Jr., who was the representative for my area at the time. And he had a contest to write legislation, and I wrote the legislation, and he chose me as the winner.
Wow.
And we developed this really great friendship, and I got to actually be on the floor of the House of Representatives at the state of Michigan when I wasn't supposed to be typically, and got to see him like punch in for attendance. And then I also got to see my bill be introduced to the House of Representatives
Wow.
and stand up, and I had the entire House applaud me. So it was a very cool and very pivotal
That's
experience.
amazing.
And then full circle in January, I was asked to be a judge for the We the People competition.
Oh, fun.
So very, very, very cool.
Wow, that's really cool. I have a much different story at age 17, but that's not for a Rotary podcast. So,
That's for later. That's for drinks later.
yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of drinks, I think now's the time everybody can sit back and have a drink because I'm going to pivot to your Rotary story. And I might embarrass you, but I feel
That's
the
okay.
need to do this. I'm going to read off many, many things, and it'll become very obvious why you recently were honored with the Gift of Time Award. So here we go. Hang on, people. This is going to be a minute. Since joining and I'm going to read this because this is a lot. Since joining in 2018, you've served 3 years on the board, your second year in your secretary position. You've co-chaired the River Cleanup, co-chaired the Senior Neighbors Holiday Luncheon, chaired the Zugos Boo Volunteer Group. You chair the Community Engagement Committee for 4 and have been on as a member for 6. You're co-chair of the Golf Infinity Group. You chair the Rotary Charities Foundation Event Committee, chair the Rotary Unplugged Podcast Committee. Thank you very much. Former co-chair of the Service Above Self Event Committee, and I was part of that, and you've done a lot of work. And you sit on the PLS Conference Committee. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds very important. And you also sit on the GRA 250 committee. I think this feels made up. I think you're just coming up with this one, but finally, yes, you are the recent winner of the 2025 President's Time Award. That is commitment.
Thank you.
Why have you been so involved and I probably missed things, but that is a lot.
You know, it's funny. It I think for me with Rotary, when I got involved, Matt Tidgen is who got me involved, who is an incredible
He's a
friend of
master Rotary recruiter, isn't he?
he is a master Rotary recruiter. And the first Rotary I attended with him as a guest was actually the Impact luncheon. So instead of a speaker, we got to hear
Mhm.
about all of the clubs and all of the things they were doing. And I know it's interesting, we tend to have a little bit lower turnout at those events. And I would argue that that was the absolute best event to bring someone to who is looking to join the club to serve, because I got to hear all of the different committees. I think I walked away knowing of 3 or 4 that I wanted to join immediately.
Mhm.
And I saw the impact, and I saw the good feelings in the room, and how everyone was friends and everyone was supporting each other and going back to that collaborative work. And so for me, I just saw that and I felt that. And I think with Rotary, you walk into that room and everyone feels like a good friend, and
Mhm.
you want to be part of it and you want to give back. And the more you do, the better you feel and the more involved you want to get. Um,
So you must
so
feel really good.
I do. And I think, and I remember in Mary Jo's podcast, she gave a really cool statistic, and it was that if you do a lot of volunteer work, it does help with depression and anxiety and
Yeah,
things
you're
like
right.
that. And I think we can all benefit from that too. And working in a nonprofit, I see the impact. And it's so cool to see how hands-on everyone in Rotary is.
Mhm.
And I just want to try to make a difference too, and be there to support wherever I can.
Did you know much about Rotary before Matt brought you or you joined? Like, had you
You know,
ever
I
attended or anything?
I had never attended. I had heard a little bit about it. I had heard, it's super prestigious and it's hard to get in, and it's a lot of higher level folks in the community. And I was a development director at the time, which I still I'm in a similar role.
Mm.
But I didn't, I didn't know. I was kind of scared going in, and then I walked in and Matt's introducing me to people, and I was like, I want to be a part of this. It just had this great feeling of friendship in the room, but I really hadn't heard much of it. And it was just so cool. I mean, I think even in the 6 years that I've been, the age differences that we've been able to bring in, the different cultures, the different business types, small
Mhm.
businesses, large businesses, nonprofits, that has been really cool for me to see too.
Do you feel like you've seen that over the 6 years or more in the last few, or has it
I
felt?
honestly think it's been over the past, I mean, since I joined, I've seen incredible positive growth,
Mm.
and so many new faces in the room.
Mhm.
And actually, we had a community engagement committee meeting last night. And I realized that I was the person that had the historical knowledge on the committee. And I'm like, but wait, in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like, wait, I've
Me?
only been here 6 years, right? Like, right. And so it's been really, really cool to see that impact and that involvement of new, fresh folks wanting to join and wanting to make that commitment. I mean, and Craig and JR, you guys both right away jumped in and got your feet wet and were joining committees. And God bless both of you, because I feel like I pull you all into things all the time. And
So we
so,
can say no.
right.
That is optional.
Yep.
What would you say to a new member that is maybe looking, has been invited, or maybe is already joined and maybe kind of apprehensive to kind of dip their toes in?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do not be afraid to jump in. I know it can feel really scary, but to me, I feel like with Rotary, I have 200 friends, and I
Mm.
think that there's something really, really special about that. If you are ever feeling like you need a place, please come to one of us on the board. Or I know I can say, I have a lot of amazing friends in the club. Please come to one of us and share that you are looking to find a fit. Come to me. I'm happy to help navigate, and I'm not going to push all my committees on you. But we just want to make sure that you're feeling good. And I'm trying to actively take out Rotarians that are new to coffee, just to meet with them and welcome them as well. So we really want it to be a well-rounded experience. So try not to be afraid, but I know it can feel scary, and jump into a service project. I mean, it's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did just to kind of see. I was a little intimidated myself with
Yeah.
just the breadth and depth of opportunities, but like how easy to kind of jump in and out. And I did a few kind of one-offs, I'll call them, right?
Yeah.
Just, one day event sort of things. And it was really fulfilling. And, but also I didn't feel like now I'm stuck. I got to do this every week, or I've just given
Right.
myself, like that's there, but it's not mandatory. And I think maybe some perceptions, misunderstandings of the organization that you got to attend every lunch and you got to, gotta. And
Yeah.
of course that there are those, expectations, but an understanding too of, that work-life balance that
Yeah.
how does your employer, by the way, and not necessarily,
Yeah.
this is more for maybe again those that are trying to, how do I
Yeah.
balance my work and ask for that. Like obviously in development, you're kind of meant to be out and about a little bit more, but that's not everybody's job. Do you find a lot of or heard of a lot of employers that are kind of understanding of this level of, community involvement?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate and blessed that every employer that I've been with has really saw the value of Rotary.
Hmm.
I mean, two of my organizations have kindly contributed to the cost, and one of them split the cost with me. So for me, I think my employer, which hopefully soon our CEO will also be joining Rotary. Um,
Oh, nice.
yeah, I think that it shows. I think again that collaboration, and I think working for a nonprofit, like you said, we always want to be out in the community, not only showcasing what we're doing, but also how we're lifting up the rest of the community. And I think that
Hmm.
Rotary is a natural fit. I do know that it's tough for folks. Like I think about a lot of folks have constant lunch meetings, which I do have a lot of lunch meetings, and sometimes
Yeah.
have to miss Rotary, and that's a bummer for me. But I think there's a lot of that, and that can be challenging. I would say and again, this comes from like my CEO too, right? If we have happy, healthy, well-rounded employees, then they're going to continue their great work. So I would say, if it's something that you're interested in, approach your team about it. And if you're ever said like, hey, I would like my boss to come to a luncheon, let me know. I'll bring them in, right?
Yeah.
I'd be happy to host and everything and share the praises of Rotary. But, I've been very lucky that I've always been able to have a lot of leniency with that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not there to necessarily sell, but you are kind of sharing the brand of your organization, regardless if you're in for-profit or nonprofit. But
Yeah.
I think it's an addiction once you kind of get caught up in it and all the opportunities, not only social, but the community service that we do. It is a more than just kind of what you think of a lunch meeting, right? Where
Yeah,
it's a networking
absolutely.
thing. There's that
Yeah.
format, but it's more than that. So
Yeah, and like John Andrews and I had coffee a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about some of the services we offer and like how that could maybe complement services that their organization offers. So getting our
yeah,
CEOs together and kind of looking for cross collaboration, even not just nonprofit to nonprofit, right? Nonprofit to for profit, and
yeah,
nonprofit to church, all of the different things, right?
right. Any chance you're going to slow down at all, or is this just how you're going to live for? Oh,
It's actually funny. I did have, and you know this very well, Craig. I did have a moment in the spring where I was like, I don't know if I can continue to do this. I did have some personal stuff going on in
of
the summer,
course.
so I did take some time off. But
Hmm.
I actually attended my first lunch in a couple months, which is not like me. I don't think I've ever missed that many lunches ever total. And it just felt so good to be back, and the
Yeah,
welcome that I got from everyone at Rotary was so great. And I think for me, it tells me that's where I need to be.
yeah,
So
that's so true. You
yeah,
can kind of,
maybe in the future, not chairing so many committees, but you
yeah,
know,
that would be good. Because do you serve on other boards and other,
I
activities outside of this club too?
I do, yeah. So I serve, like I mentioned, I just rolled off of the Humane Society board not that long ago. I also sit on the Firefighters Foundation board, which is really great. Focus on getting fire alarms in people's homes for free, which is
Oh,
really
really?
great, and fire education and things like that. I've been a part of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society as well as their leadership committee. That was something else that Matt Tidgen got me involved in, and he ran for Man of the Year. And then, like the next year, I ran for Woman of the Year, and then I just
Hmm,
kind of stayed on the leadership committee.
I see.
Um, I'm also a part of the Leading Ladies of Grand Rapids with Clark
Hmm.
Foundation, and Women of Habitat Kent. So, and I'm sure I'm missing a few as well. So,
You probably are. You probably need to keep a list in front of you because you're very
I
active. Well, Alex, thank you so much for not only this fun time together as a podcast committee representatives, but just to hear so much about your story. And there's so much, we can learn from you and your balance and your dedication. But again, that award that you received is well earned, well deserved, and I hope allows you a little, grace to yourself to maybe not have to. Get involved with everything that comes your way, but starting to delegate. But we
yes.
greatly appreciate you being such a leader in Rotary. It's been fun to get to know you personally and really admire. And you really have been an inspiration to me about just you kind of get out of it what you put into it, right? And I think MJ kind of alluded to that when I talked to her on the podcast. Like it's only as good as you make it, and you make it so great, and you make it look so easy too.
Oh,
So
thank you.
thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
And thanks to is it Jax? Is that your dog's
Jax, yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't. Hey, Jax, come
he
here, bud.
behaved pretty
Hey,
well, a little
Jax.
better
You
than
did.
JR
You
Nobody else
did
actually.
saw
pretty
you.
darn good.
Bring him on
I
over
think.
here when you see him.
I think the big question is, when are you guys going to come to Drinks and Development? That's my
Oh,
question.
you're right. Yeah, one more networking group that you're involved with. My
Yes, yes,
word.
Yeah, I'm
That's
unaware
one
of
I
that
could
one.
probably get
So
to a little easy. It's,
yes. That's a fun one.
wait,
JR, do you box?
oh, what? Do I
Do you
box?
box?
Only when forced to.
Oh, that type of box. All right. I don't know. Do you
I'll
sit
keep
on
it for
39
another
committees
time.
like Alex
So,
does?
but what's
Here
that?
comes Jax.
Oh, there.
Oh, no, he's
There you
gone.
go. All right.
Cameo. Love it.
Well, hey, we really do appreciate your time. It's nice to have the boss on here. So, as everybody should know by now, You can find this podcast at grrotary.org. Just click on the Unplugged tab at the top of the site to see the latest episodes. It's also available in the Apple Podcast application. Just download that to your phone and do a search for Grand Rapids Rotary Unplugged. Or did I say it right?
They'll find it.
Yes, they'll find it out there.
We
Yes,
know.
Unplugged. Definitely check it out there as well. So everybody have an awesome Friday, and we'll see you again real soon.